It's amazing how far technology comes so fast these days.
I'm so curious to know what the cell phones of our generation are going to be. All right, first ban Tracer.
Okay, so obviously they don't want Bumbling Bees playing Tracer. Dahaka?
Yeah.
What?
So
you don't see that very often.
No, you don't. And is this an informed pick just by the Blame game? Are they familiar with their Dahaka lineage?
It's a good question. A lot of these teams are in divisions, so there's a good chance they played each other before.
Yeah.
And so that could technically be a targeted ban for sure. We've got Kael'thas. Of course, Kael'thas seems to go in and out of popularity. And like when he's out, he's like completely out. And then when he's in, he is in with a vengeance. He's never just been like one of those like mainline guys.
It's really bizarre too, because you would think that since he brings a stun to the game, that he would just be around always, always a staple. But he's damage dependent, and people really take him for that exact reason, never really the stun.
Mm-hmm. And then we got a Thrall pickup by Bumbling Bees. Again, Thrall is another one of those he's first pick material right now.
Yeah, and Sylvanas, they're going to have some lane push power. So they're all set for their laning phase.
Yep.
What's going to be their
top and bottom.
Yeah.
If they want.
And I'm just
Kyle,
so curious.
I want to see Mind Control.
Mind Control?
Yeah.
Mm.
We don't see it very often, but I think it's such a fun heroic.
It's definitely fun. I haven't seen it used particularly well. I think it's a great counter to Tracer, but she's already out. I'm just so perplexed by this Dahaka ban.
It's still bugging you?
Yeah, I gotta think, like, what are they planning? Because if you got rid of Dahaka, first thing that pops to mind is you're going Tracer, because Dahaka has a lot of great tools against that isolation, the tongue in the first place, the global presence.
Mm-hmm.
But we're on Dragonshire. What do you get? Thrall isn't, particularly countered by Dahaka. If you're a melee character, you just keep wailing when you have limited sight. Okay,
and I was about to say this. There's the Falstad.
Okay.
Coming in before the second ban phase, not a surprise. You mentioned the global presence, and there's very few characters who are better at that than Falstad, especially on this map, which is a little smaller and more compact. His fly can pretty much get him anywhere.
Now, they already have the Kael'thas on Blame Game, so will they run Falstad as an auto-attacker? I feel like I haven't seen that in a solid month.
It's mostly Mage Stat these days.
Yeah.
And we have a Tyrande ban by Bumbling Bees.
Interesting. So, if you go auto-attack Kael'thas, Tyrande can up that damage to a ridiculous amount.
Yes.
There is the potential for that combo. I don't see it going in with the Rhaegar, but the burst damage of Falstad Kael'thas leaves you pretty safe for a Tyrande, so maybe they're reading into that. Again, I have to imagine that the Bumbling Bees are just going purely off of statistics they came across on the Blame Game.
Mm-hmm. Then we got an Uther ban from Blame Game. So, no tanks, no supports. Well, we got our Rhaegar. So they've got their support. They don't want Bumbling Bees to have Uther. I think it's really interesting, and I'm still not used to this yet, Kyle. We're talking about Kael'thas with an auto attack build.
I love it.
Isn't that it's ridiculous? Like,
it gives them so much personality.
It does. But it's just hilarious to me. It's like mage, and then these like crazy auto attacks with this one talent.
It feels so vulnerable too if you can just get out that flame strike. But, unless they do something like an ETC to really bring it together, the Johanna, the Malfurion, they're gone. So our sort of circle effect stacking for a Flame Strike build has kind of been countered.
Yeah. The Tranquility, very, very strong against that AoE type damage. And honestly, Malfurion may have helped a little more in the last game we cast against that Zul's Poison Nova.
Definitely. The ability to go around the Tranquility as well, as you mentioned. But it could be a silence, honestly. If Kael'thas ends up going anything Living Bomb or Auto Attack, there is absolutely the range available for Malfurion to get in there with the new passive. It ups his healing a little tiny bit. Johanna, Thrall, Sylvanas, all guys who can take care of themselves.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And we have a Sonya on Blame Game. So, do you think this will be a Sonya warrior? Solo warrior?
Yeah, this is bizarre. I would love to see solo Sonya. I love sacrificing tankiness for damage.
Because that is a butt ton of damage
Yeah.
if you go Sonya Solo Warrior.
Well, and the best thing Sonya really brings to is just chaos. Just raw, spinny chaos. But nope, it's going to be a Muradin. Interesting. So our Johanna, probably a pick just based on the skills of the player. We don't really have a good blind opportunity. Maybe that Kael'thas, like we've talked about, should avoid his auto attack build. I doubt it. Sonya really does the majority of her damage through spells with the Whirlwind and the Seismic Slam.
Yeah, and
there we go.
Asmodan! And we better get the Asmodunk skin, or I'm going to riot.
Double specialist.
Double specialist. So they obviously have a very strong push plan in mind.
Yeah. And their core group is really solid. Johanna, Thrall, Malfurion. We leave Sylvanas, Asmodan. Every single lane here for the Bumbling Bees is going to be covered greatly.
Well, and Kyle, one other thing too, especially when you see the Johanna, that leads you into thinking of a very good Taste for Blood stacking combo as well.
Yeah, you could do it decently with a Thrall. Sylvanas could also do it okay, but you're absolutely right. Johanna makes it just completely easy.
Yeah, and the lanes are close enough in this map. It's not necessarily a map that's too big that you could fairly easily swap lanes with Asmodan to get those stacks in multiple different lanes.
So we have our Bermuda Triangle of Death, the divide that keeps the middle lane from easily accessing the bottom lane. There's so many ganks that happen in there. Who do you put in the bottom lane here? Johanna would have been a great pick, but now we have Sylvanas and Asmodan.
I feel like we'll have Asmodan in the top or mid because, like you said, it's a little easier to pull those stacks out, I think, between mid and top lane. And then we'll get Sylvanas and or Thrall pushing bottom.
It is such a pleasure to watch a well-coordinated Asmodan team.
Oh, I know.
I'm pretty excited about this, but at the same time, Blame Game is just a solid comp.
Yes, there's so much damage there. So much control, too. Because you've got gust potential, you've got gravity lapses, you've got Rhaegar slow totems, you've got Sonya stun with the Ancient Spear, and then you've got Muradin stun, and then even slow, possibly. There's just so much control over on the side of Blame Game.
Has the viability to do one of their maybe off heroics here.
Yeah.
I could absolutely see Bloodlust. I could absolutely see Pyroblast. Our Haymaker even.
Well, Blame Game did ban Uther. It's possible they banned him strictly for that Pyroblast. Because there is no saves on the side of bees to really stop a Pyroblast at this point.
You're absolutely right. Oof, this is going to be some chaos for Asmodan. If they can keep him alive and get his stacks high, they'll be in a pretty good spot. And on the other side, of course, for the Blame Game, well, actually, let's see. Let's see what Falstad does for his first pick. It's gonna be a wizard build.
Yeah.
Permanently increasing the hero damage.
For sure. All right, so over on the side of the Blame Game, we have Beef Snack Stick on Muradin, Oxygen on Kael'thas, Agani on Falstad, Dolphin Poo on Sonya, and Narthier on Rhaegar.
Over for the Bumbling Bees, we got Tony Cheese, Azuni, Regulus, Jash, and Thrall. Paranormalcy heading through the top.
All right, so it looks like we may have a 1-4 here with the middle and bottom rotating between. And that actually could be really, really good for that Asmodan Johanna comp to get those stacks, because I assume he went Taste for Blood. He did.
The position that Blame Game just took up is the position to get the early gank off on.
Ooh! And early gank for sure, because Regulus falls very quickly as he kind of gets a little out of position.
Just something as simple as that makes me think that maybe the Blame Game is going to be extremely calculated this entire game, and which might leave the Bumbling Bees to, well, bumble around a little bit, seeing if they can get that XP they need for their specialist team to come together. Yeah,
and again, you are Johanna, but you just walked into 4 people.
That's tough.
That's rough.
You're Valkyrian exploding, Your Asmodean getting caught out, those things that you can just kind of go, oh, well, at least I messed up. But when your Johanna goes down across the map, everyone's thinking, oh, what went wrong there?
Yeah, because it's Johanna. Sylvanas going to rotate up top with Thrall. Thrall doing actually a really decent job against this Sonya up top. Asmodean just looking to soak stacks. And Kyle, I'll have you keep track of that throughout this game. You can let us know what those stacks are looking like.
Sounds good. I'm on it.
But we have, honestly, I feel like Blame Game is definitely got the better 4-1 rotation going right now.
Well, they've taken control of that middle, that Bermuda Triangle we talked about. And now the Bumbling Bees just aren't willing to go in that area, so they absolutely have a hold on it.
And you gotta admire the Muradin's ride, too. I love that motorcycle.
Oh, it's huge, isn't it?
It's so fun. And it looks awesome on Murky. Saw that the other day.
It's
my favorite
too
Murky
big.
mount.
Lily also looks fantastic, but I mean, Master Skin Muradin, and all his little doodads hanging off him.
Yeah, it goes in on Thrall, actually, and he's going to try and body block him. We've got a huge gank coming up, and Thrall's going to just pop.
Explode. The Living Bomb's going to push Sylvanas back, and that's going to give them the zone they need, and it looks like Rhaegar's all set to go in the middle, but here comes Tony Cheese down the middle. We're going to see if they can hold off for a bit. I like that Tony Cheese is avoiding using the blinds, basically just going for some basic abilities. The auto attacks coming out of Asmodean going to keep him off, but there they go. They're going to get pushed back. You know, the Bumbling Beast has more than enough health to survive this, but it's going to be a 2-minute, 50-second Dragon Knight.
Yeah, and honestly, Falstad did an excellent job holding that off on the bottom and giving them enough time to grab that Dragon Knight right off the bat. Early Dragon Knights, they did buff them a little bit, still not that powerful. Usually what you want to do with these is you want to do exactly what they're doing right now, just go for the towers.
Now, Thrall's been doing some great bullying in the top here and actually manages to dodge the Storm Bolt, so he might be okay, but Living Bomb going to finish him up. A level lead goes out.
Oxygen just doing work with those Kael'thas ganks. That is just so scary. You're fighting a Sonya, you think you have the upper hand, all of a sudden Kael'thas comes up, you're completely stunned out, you have fire on you, there's fire below you, and then you're dead.
And you can see how Josh, the Sylvanas here too, they don't get to control the map. They're just stuck going around the long way for everything here.
And honestly, that was really good use of the Dragon Knight. They finished off both towers and almost the gate in the middle, and both towers and the gate in the bottom too.
Yeah, they got as much XP out of that as they could. They have their level 7s ready to go. And, you know, it's starting to shape up. It's looking like it's going to be a full Verdant Spheres build for Kael'thas.
And, yep, that's lots of basic attack damage. That seems to be the popular build right now.
Definitely. Once he gets those late game talents too, with his Sun King's Fury and everything else like that.
Oh, good old Sun King's Fury. Asmodean just trying as hard as he can to stack. Bumbling Bees, again, like you said, they're having to kind of rotate split. Malfurion had to go back, grab a fountain, but Asmodean's taking so much damage.
Yeah, and he goes down, though in the background here, he's already at 50 stacks, which is impressive for the 4-minute mark. Clearly they've worked on this coordination before. And Thrall is just holding this top solid. He does have beef snack sticks waiting on him. Maybe even this is a little bait heart. Yeah, it looked like a little bait heart.
Oxygen sticking around. And here it is. Beef Sticks comes out. Great gravity lapse and a Storm Bolt onto him. He's taking quite a bit of damage. He's going to go around the long way. Oxygen going to try and cut him off.
He's got his cooldowns. He's ready for it. Nice wiggle, though.
Good dodge. And it looks like he's barely going to get away with his life. That was a very good dodge. Anticipated where the gravity lapse was going to come. And just waited a little longer.
Do you consider that BM? That was a fantastic bait. Hearthing in the lane like that to draw out the Thrall.
Oh no, I thought that was stellar. That's exactly like what he wanted to do. It's just like it's so tempting, right? It's like, yeah. Oh look, it's a 3rd health Kael'thas by himself. I'm full health Thrall. I can take that.
In the bottom, Tony Cheese was actually able to get himself on the pad at the last second, so this is not gonna go to blame game in the first moment, which leaves Rhaegar and Muradin out of position a little bit as they come down.
Oh, but Thrall ends up dying. Malfurion goes down as well, and now Bumbling Bees is in full retreat, and Johanna goes down too.
Yeah, level 10 advantage. We got the Mighty Gust, Wrath of Berserker, Pyroblast like we talked about, Avatar, and the Ancestral Healing.
And I really like seeing that Pyroblast, Kyle. Like we were talking about, there's really no effective counter to that on the Bumbling Bees side. So if he sees any of those squishies at half health or so, they're dead.
Yeah, I wonder if all this damage is going to make Johanna go Falling Sword.
That is a very good question, and Falling Sword is actually a lot better now than it used to be, but man, another Dragon Knight, only 7 minutes into this game, and we're at our second one.
And looks like they're going to take out this fort here pretty well. Kicking out the Johanna. Get on out of here. Thrall dedicated to his lane. Asmodan continuing to get his stacks. And again, he is doing a good job on that. This late game power, and now that he has his Black Pool, could really obliterate some of the squishies on the Blame game.
And I think that's what the Bumbling Bee strategy is. They're just trying to last till endgame right now because they're betting the farm basically on that Asmodan.
It's so rare for us to see a healing totem, but with this level lead that the Blame game has, they're not actually able to get in there and destroy it. It's constantly keeping the team up.
Yeah. Thrall with a really nice Sundering, but Rhaegar able to get the Ancestral off on Agni and keep Falstad alive. And now Blame game's a little split.
Gonna push back the Malfurion. A seismic slam goes down on him, taking him out. Looks like everyone else will be able to survive. Front line of Asmodan and Tony Cheese able to deny the death for Sylvanas.
So Kyle, I understand what Bumbling Bees are doing. They're, like you said, they're trying for the late game. They've got that Asmodan comp, but right now it feels like they're going to have to try a little a little harder because they're 2 levels down right now. They're a talent tier down, and they have to be really careful that this game doesn't get out of control completely before they have a chance to really have their power spike.
Yeah, and they're just going to have to cast all their abilities perfectly. The Malfurion, with this much damage, a 2-level lead on the enemy team, is going to have to lead with Tranquility, and that's currently on cooldown for 54 seconds.
Yeah, and Tranquility is not a short cooldown. So I would not be surprised to see Blame Game even try to bait it out with a false engage. Just because fear is very powerful, especially with this level lead. And so sometimes you can bait out those long cooldowns, back up, let them run their course, and then have a fairly big advantage right off the bat.
I do like the confidence that Thrall has on the Bumbling Bees, though. He's continued to get his team the XP they need to stay in this game. Asmodan has hit over 150 on his orb now.
So it's going to start doing some damage.
It's to the point now, once you get above 100, you can start clearing a lane in a single orb, and that's when it starts to snowball out of control.
They're still a talent tier behind, so they have to be pretty careful on their engages, especially when they're not under their towers right now. Only 1 fort remains for them, and unfortunately, they just haven't been able to get really any structured damage in on Blame Game's side.
And they're looking to, maybe negate a little bit of damage out of this team, but it's going to be even more dangerous for them. The Muradin took Thunderstrike, which increases his damage by 300% if he hits a single target.
Yes.
Which it just did.
And Johanna getting blown up again. It is not often you see a Johanna just melting like this, Kyle.
And we really can't put it on talent picks like that Thunderstrike, the Thunderclap, 300% damage. I mean, we have Backdraft in play as well, the Giant Killer. It's looking pretty grim.
Yeah, that's tough. They are on the same talent tier finally. They've got about a level of opportunity to really still allow for a team engage again before it gets super scary.
And I am excited for Sylvanas. She just got Windrunner. So this can open up players who are used to taking that talent to get more creative on the map and pull things they otherwise couldn't.
Yeah, it's very cool for positioning. You can do quite a bit with it. Bumbling Bees are going to do everything in their power to continue soaking and not let Blame Game get another Dragon Knight. Because they're starting to do a lot of damage.
He'll be able to deny that for quite a while, but the orb actually goes out on the main team fight, and yeah, Sonya grabs the Dragon Knight and it's coming down the middle lane again.
Another excellent Ancestral by Rhaegar. Thrall deleted by a Pyroblast. Tony Cheese getting completely body blocked by Muradin right now. Has to pop that Unstoppable, but it's not going to be enough. And the Thunderclap from Muradin, or the Thunder Strikes, excuse me, from Muradin. That finished that Johanna off. That's doing work.
And we haven't seen a single Mighty Gust this game yet. There just hasn't simply been an opportunity for them to take that level of power.
And they're tagging the core now.
Yeah, they're just going to whale it down. Asmodee had great stacks. It's unmoving on a 2-level up team.
I don't think they're quite going to get it done, but...
Here's a good opportunity. Mystical Spear carries Sylvanas out. There's the roots that land. Can they get the kill, though? Without Asmodee at 16, he can't deliver.
And the orbs are hitting... But the level lead at this point is such a big difference that the health pools are really being a good counter to those orbs.
That's the kind of tranquility we need. But Tony Cheese goes down. Asmodee's toes are just inside of it, so he's getting the heal as well. He's trying to lead him back, but they're so low. I understand completely how they just want to get those 2 kills that they can and get back on the map here.
And I mean, honestly, I can understand that. Bumbling Bees are very down, and if they can get every kill they get nets them far more than every kill that Blame Game gets right now.
You know, we can't target any problems with that aggression they just had. Sylvanas absolutely needed to teleport forward there. They had to make something happen on the map. Now, the Blame Game has backed out. There's all the mercs on the map. I'd like to see them take their own at the moment because... it's half and half here. Do that gentleman's trade again while it's open.
Yep.
Now as the Blame Game starts to take their own mercenaries, the map is going to start to close up and we can see them moving in on the Giants on the bottom.
I have to give big props to Northier on Rhaegar. He's been doing an amazing job keeping his team up during these fights. Like, his Ancestrals have been completely on point. Tony Cheese, I don't know where poor Tony was, but he was not with his team at all. Oh,
it's a lot of damage coming down. Again, the healing that is pumped out of the healing ward has always been incredible. It just dies too easily. They can't kill it. They can't get deep enough. And that's why this team is constantly topped off for all these engages.
Yeah, it got so much mileage this game, Kyle. It's absolutely insane. And you're right. They just didn't have anybody who could get past that really beefy front line to get to it.
Yeah. Well, a swift game for sure.
Whew. Yeah. That was very, very well played by Blame Game. 18-0. They didn't give up a single kill that game.
And nothing was going to change. It looked like, looking at some of these talent picks, we got the Stone Form coming out, the Sun King's Fury, Hammer Time, Nerves of Steel, and Earth Grab Totem. Even if Bumbling Bees was able to hold on, they were going to have a rough go at it.
Yeah. That is so much damage coming out. And like I said, not only damage, but that front line. Like, when you have a Muradin and a Sonya in the front line, no one is getting to that Kael'thas.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't have anybody who's got the potential to get back and survive and kill fast enough to make it worthwhile.
I mean, if we can, highlight areas that maybe could have been changed up, I think you're absolutely right. Mind Control could have been one of those clutch little interesting picks that might have been able to get them back in the game, particularly in that engage where they were just chasing them down. And what was it? Sonya and Falstad was 0 health in the background.
Yeah. Sonya was down to 150 health at one point. Falstad was down to like 200 and some health at one point. They just kept escaping with almost nothing.
Malfurion got forced into the ice block too, and he's got some good talents at 13 if he can avoid that. Interesting to see the Asmodee, who I'm just curious at this point because Jash clearly demonstrated some really good skills at stacking his orb. Went with Health Forged Armor instead of the usual March of Sin.
Huh. That is a little bit of a strange pick.
But it does area effect damage. I do wonder if that might be superior when you're doing the orb build. You throw it with your 16 talent, you summon a little demon. Everyone goes that one for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's on fire, it might kill the guys in lane. You have a 1.5 second window in order to get the kill for it to stack onto your orb. Maybe that's all it takes.
Yeah, maybe it's just more stacks for him. At the same time, though, like you said, when you have Black Pool and once you're over that 100 damage, you can pretty much one-shot entire creep waves.
Yeah. Looking at the damage here, too, the Specialist led the way. Thrall was always in that lane.
Yeah, he was. And I mean, Thrall tried so hard to soak for his team. Like, he soaked almost as much as that Asmodan did.
Oh, he was that monk that that could totally kick your butt, but he's not willing to fight you.
Yeah.
It was just that dedication to getting XP for his team was really commendable, and the fact that they were able to keep a level head across a game that went 18-0, I think speaks to the skills of Bumbling Bees.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, GG to Blame game. That was a very impressive match. They had really good control of that game the entire time. And that I think that really highlights good map control.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you said, they controlled that Bermuda Triangle area right from the get-go and made Bumbling Bees almost scared to go in there, and they had to go around the back several times, and when you do that, you waste a lot of time.
They didn't have the confidence to move around the map freely, which they needed for the push power that they drafted. And that's really cool. I'm going to take that into my own games. Because that's like that fear tactic, controlling that area and just making sure that no one's comfortable moving through it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think we have to give play of the game to Oxygen for the bait, Hearth, sneaky Thrall pick thing. I know it didn't quite end up working out, but dang it all, that was fun to watch.
That was so cool. I mean, like saying sorry, which you can't say anymore in Hearthstone anymore.
Oh, you can't? They took sorry out?
Yeah, it's now wow instead. Because people are always like, I'm sorry. And you would get tilted. You'd be like, and you'd start playing more cards than you should, and you'd get aggressive on the field. And it was a real tactic, and it worked really well.
So funny.
This was not stuttering with that Hearth. He wasn't BMing him. It was just a legit, silly, but actually really neat strategy.
Yeah. And that's what I love about this as a team game. Like, they're able to, okay, Murden, I know you're there. You've got my back. Please don't miss your Stormbolt.
It's the old Murden Hearth Kael'thas combo.
Yeah.
We'll have to watch out.
It's definitely a thing. It's going to be in Hero League all over the place now.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, gosh. All right, guys. Well, GG to them.